Welcome back, hype! This is 1K to 1M, where I show you guys how to take your 1K coins and turn them into 1 million by recording all of my transactions and telling you guys different methods of accomplishing what I do. Last week I showed you guys this gold rare quick sell method, where you try to snatch cards at the quick sell price and then sell them at the minimum price that they're going for. That was the method that was being shown, but it seems everyone was doing everyone and their mother was doing that method after I showed it to you guys, so it's not as effective anymore. You can still do it, but you're not going to get as high margins anymore. That is the price at which you bought it for and the price at which you sold it for. So instead of getting huge profits off selling a few cards, you would need to sell maybe like 5 times as much cards to be able to get that profit. So let's shift focus from that method and go to a different method where we focus on specific cards. I was looking through there to find some juicy cards, but eventually I settled on one of my favorite really cheap cards, Travis Konechny. I looked up all the cards under 2K to find him, and if you don't know him, then by doing this you try to figure out what's his position and what's his player type. He's a center, he's a playmaker. With that, we narrow our search results down to 2 cards. Then we brought in our price restriction to see how many cards are out there. And this is where I accidentally reset it. Crap. But we're back here. So we have about 8 different copies of this card, and many of the prices are pretty high. They're around 4K. We know 2 of these cards are under 2K, and the other ones are above 2K. So I decided I'm going to buy this one for $1,500, and I'm going to sell them for $2,500 because that was, I think, like the next cheapest card. And then I noticed this homeless Konechny who doesn't have a contract, much less desirable card, so I decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to take him in, make him one of my own, give him a contract, because contracts only go for like $200, $300, not a big deal. And then I put him up on the auction house for the same price, but a different time, just so that there's more exposure. Different people could be looking at different times to find him. We go over to the next day, we have more money. One of my Konechnys sold, the other one did not. So what we have to do is look at the new price of this card. What's everyone selling him now for? Looks like his price went down a little bit, but it's still not too bad. So I throw him up on the auction house for just under $2,000, $1,999, because people will see that like 1 and think, oh, that's cheaper than $2,000. It's a little psychology trick that people use in real life all the time. Okay, so let's switch things up again. This time we're going to look at Team of the Week cards with the amount of money that we have, 70-something hundred. The reason that we're doing this is because the new competitive seasons require you to have silver and bronze cards. I remember at the beginning of the year I was selling these cards for maybe like 10K bronze and 20K silver, but now it's tough to find any of these cards under that price. So when it comes to flipping cards, you need to be aware of what the current trends are in the marketplace. Next competitive season, there's going to be something completely different. If you're one of the first people to jump on those type of cards, you can make a fortune in a very short amount of time. Someone was posting on Reddit earlier how their Team of the Week cards here, the bronze and silver ones, went for like 50K to 100K each. It's crazy. Similar idea with just the base cards, but you're looking for the really desirable silver cards. The high overall ones, the very fast ones, high skating, the ones with team wheel, those will be the ones that go for more than just the average silver card. So that didn't work out for me. I jump on over to the gold Team of the Week cards, try to see if I can find a card. None of these really stand out to me. Josh Morrissey might have, but there was another card right there, so I'm like, okay, that's not that great. I go over to milestone cards, and this Iginla is the only one up right now. First thing I do is see if there are any other type of cards like that out on the marketplace. There is not. He's the only 86 Iginla on the auction house right now. I compare him to the 86 Boshaman, I compare him to the 87 Iginla, and 7K just seems like a steal for me. Or a steal for him, I don't know. Looking at his stats, he's not a great card, but I feel like I can still sell him for like 10K and get a 3K profit. So then I look at other cards that you can buy for around the same price range. There are a lot of 87s, but I decided I'm going to add him to my watch list, come back to him, and see if I can just snipe him by bidding on him. In the meantime, let's check out another method of trying to make money, and this time it's in the collectibles market. Look up all collectibles under 5K, and there's a lot of bronze and silver ones, no gold ones, which usually go for 5K or more. Thanks to the addition of the trading post, those bronze and silver collectibles also go for a lot more now because you can turn them into junior flashback players. So let's go into what makes up the gold collectibles, and that's jerseys and logos and coaches and arenas. A lot of people find success off of these cards. cards. If you can buy them for, let's say, under 500, turn them into a collectible and make it worth more than 5,000, like maybe 6,000, you can make some money off of this. I kind of just find it too tedious, to be honest. Some people also like to flip collectibles. I find this one for 5,500. I can sell it for 6,000, and then tax is 300. So I only made 200 coins. Okay, that's nothing. But if you find some for cheaper, you can sell them for more. You can do the same thing with carbon collectibles in the future. Okay, let's go back to the method that got me Travis Konechny. Here I'm searching for all the expansion cards right now between 1K and 3K to just try to get a feel for everyone's prices. I'm looking for like 88 overall cards, 87 overall cards that are really good. I write down their names and then I check to see all the different cards of that type on the auction house right now. First one I check out is the underperforming Goose, who is a beast in this game. So I search up all the Red Wings first, and then I figure out his position, I figure out his player type, so I can see all the different cards. I find out the cost of his card isn't all that great. You can buy many of his cards for under 1K, so we're not really going to make a profit off of him. I do the same thing with Grabner. I find out most of his cards go over 3K, so I write that down. Same thing with Nash, 3K. Apparently, Hayes also shares a lot of his traits. The few amount of Eberleys we have here go for 2.5K. JVR for 3K. Find out there's a lot of sharks in the water that share the same traits. That's very weird. Makes it a little too confusing for me, so I decided not to include them. I was mostly going for someone like Marlowe or Botker. Vatanen, I really like his card, but he's only going for a K, so I take him out of the list. For Columbus, I look for Saad, and there's way too many white guys here that look the same, so I decided to take him off the list as well. Go over to Ottawa, and we have Hoffman and Ryan, both 88 overall cards that are very solid players. While examining their prices, I find that this Hoffman is a lot cheaper than the other one, so I decided to snipe him off the marketplace for $1,550 and sell him for $2,000. Both of these cards go for the same price, so it's not burdensome to look at their price every time. So now that we have written down the name of a few cards, we're going to do the 1 hour method, where we're searching for all the expansion cards, gold rare, under the price of 2K to try to find some steals. We're also utilizing the little synergy trick that we learned from the first video. We're flipping back and forth to find new cards. While doing this, I find this Paul Stastny that I kind of feel like 500 coins is a little too cheap for him. So I look up other Stastnys and I end up buying that card and selling him for 900. I continue on with the method and I find another Konechny for 1,000. Decided I'm going to hop on that. We remembered his price from last time, so it's a success being able to get him now. So basically, this is just an expansion of the original method, just focusing on specific cards. At the end of the day, I look at what sold and what didn't. The Hoffman that we bought sold as the gold collectible, and then we have these 3 cards out on the auction house right now. We go over to Creep on this Iginla to see how much time is left so we can try to win this auction. And then apparently I blacked out and it's the future because we have a lot more money and we ended up buying the Iginla and then selling him. Somehow lost the footage, but basically I just decided to outright buy the Iginla for 7K and sell him for 10K. All of my cards sold except one of these Konechnys, so I decided to look up his price yet again, and I realized it's not looking good for him. His price tanked. I decided to throw him into my collection, and maybe in the future his price will go back up. So what I did to buy that Iginla is look through these different special edition cards, and it's by far my favorite method. So I'm going to do it again, starting with Team of the Week cards, then Milestone, and then I'm going to go to Player of the Game cards. Look for cards that are really good deals under the amount of money that I have. It's all based on just buying it now. Pop quiz, who stands out in this list? It's Verbata, because he has a really light blue jersey that kind of just makes him stand out. But it turns out his buy now price is 9K, while the other 86s, Schultz and Anisimov, were going for 12K. I looked at his stats earlier, now I'm comparing him to the other Verbata that's out right now, and I decided, yeah, this is a good buy. So I really like what I see. I decided instead of trying to sell him for 15K, I'm going to try to double my coins and sell him for 20K. It might be my experience talking, but he's not a card that you see very often. The other Verbata, as you can see here, is going for over 20K. So not exactly 6 hours after I posted him up on the auction house, find out he didn't sell, so I dropped down his price to 17K. Got a little too greedy, but that's okay. I want my money now. And then whenever later, he ends up selling. So we are looking good. We do the method again with 20K this time. I look around for some cards here. I find this Budai for 8K and I decide I'm not going to pull the trigger, but I think I should have. Player of the Game goalies can usually go for 15K or more. Go to World Cup of Hockey cards. Oh my god, that's me! I'm on TV right now! Mom, I'm on the YouTube! So those are the cards that I flip very often. I find this Colton Parayko, and he's going for a lot less than what I flip him for. So, borrowing a page out of the experienced guy, I decided to buy that Parayko, and I decided to undercut myself. Don't worry, I won't be mad. With some money left over, I look up player of the game cards, and I find this Chad Johnson for 9K, sell him for 13K. And guess what? Later, the Chad Johnson sold because, like I said, the player of the game goalies go for a little bit more. A quick flip like that, and we're moving on, looking for some more cards. No one here really stands out. I'm just looking at a bunch of 85s and a lot of Charlie Coyles. For milestone cards, this Ott used to go for a little bit more because of Team Wheel, but this Hossa stands out to me. 10K for an 87. I like that. I like that a lot, so I'm going to take a peek at other Hossas that are available right now. We have an 88 going for 130,000. Yeah, that's not selling. And then the 87 that I'm trying to buy. He's a little on the slow end, but I think I can still profit off of this card. So, buy him for 10K, sell him for 15K. That's about 5K profit minus tax. I like it. So this is how you flip cards. Buy low, sell high, find really good deals. Time later, Hossa ended up selling. Parayko did not. We go again. Player of the game cards, nothing exciting going on here. There are a lot of cards though, because keep in mind I am now looking for cards under 18K. By now, of course. So then I look at milestone cards, and this Yager stands out to me. 88 overall Yager. He's slow, just like Hossa. But I don't think he should be going for 13K. That price is a little too low for me. I compared it to the other Yager, and 87 overall Yager is going to be more expensive than my 88 overall. So this card should sell pretty quickly. Now when the auctions ended, I look at Parayko. Got money off him. Okay, Yager did not sell pretty quickly. I lied. Look up the prices of the Yagers again, and I just ended up selling him for a little bit less at 20K. So now we are reaching the conclusion, and that's when Yager has sold. In addition to the amount of coins that I have, I also have a Travis Konechny sitting in my collection just in case whenever he reaches 1 million, I can sell him and just instantly end the series there. So here are the stats. That was about a week's worth of effort. I started with 6,254. I ended up with 38,000. That's a profit of 32,000. Percentage-wise, 511% compared to like the 525% we had before. So I quintupled my money each time. We're 4% of the way to our goal. I spent 2 hours recording footage of pretty much this video, and that was broken up into like 6 or 7 days, so it was maybe like 15 minutes a day. I sold 22 cards in this time compared to 20 on day 1. But because I was dealing with more expensive cards, my average profit per card was $14.55. Cumulatively, I spent just under 3 hours. I sold 42 cards total, and my average profit per card is $887. Finally, the statistic that we were all waiting for. How many Crosbys have I sniped so far? The answer is 0. That'll do it for this episode of 1K to 1M. Find out what we do next week to move on from 40K.